Hi, my name is Curtis Glenn, and I am now 92 years old, but when I started, I was just 19 years old when I enlisted in the United States Army Air Corps. We flew support for the Army, for the British Army, and got to know what war was all about, because the Germans were eating our daily lunch. They were winning the war, and until Montgomery was able to turn it around with our help, that is to say with equipment, tanks and what have you. And the story is basic, that we finally beat them in the desert, and we helped by bringing supplies, wounded out, and new personnel in, and so on. And my CEO called me into the office and said, "Glenn, pack your B4 bag, you're going to London on a special TDY." I never again wore another uniform in my entire military career after that. I was selected, apparently, the special training to be inserted into Germany, behind the German lines. I didn't know that. And I had volunteered myself, but I didn't know that either. Huh. And here I was in OSS, not understanding at first what was going on, in a unit that was made up of the oddest people you've ever met in your life. And I was now a full-fledged CIA officer, because OSS had become CIA when President Roosevelt died. Truman, as president, decided that our government needed an intelligence service and needed a professional one. I became a State Department Foreign Service officer, sworn, actual, because every embassy that I would be going to in the future, I would be going as a Foreign Service officer. But I was actually a CIA officer. In Vietnam, which of course was a losing proposition from the word go, I had a very responsible job and was in charge of all the operations against the Viet Cong in Vietnam. My biggest mission in Vietnam was to attempt to recover Americans who were taken prisoner in Vietnam before they were sent on to Hanoi. Whatever you could imagine happened at some point or other in Vietnam. It was never a dull moment. When you'd be driving down a way and a bomb would explode 2 minutes from you, and you'd say, boy, another mile and a half and it would have been me. And eventually I became a member of a task force that was headed by an ambassador. And the task force had the responsibility to bring in a couple of 100,000 Vietnamese that fled Vietnam when the bad guys took over. I was part of a group that had big plans and big ideas, and we fulfilled some of them and some we didn't. But it was an extraordinary experience in my life to be part of something as wonderful as that and as important.